On Friday, during my long run, I discovered something had changed in me. So, in the past, I was quite rigid about my running routes. If I'd made a plan that this is exactly how I would run, I didn't want it changed. Kind of the way my mind works, I have milestones, and that's how I get through my runs. But if along the way something changes, it throws me off balance. And so that used to be a sore point when I ran with my husband. We'd be training for a marathon and we have a plan for the next day, wake up, and as we start running, he changes a route. I would get so upset, and I don't think he could understand it because he enjoyed discovering new roads, just enjoying the view. Mine, I was counting down, counting down. But on Friday, I had I set off for my long run. It wasn't a very long one last week, just 8.1 kilometers. And I always have a face towel because I sweat and I can't stand the sweat running down my face. So I always have one folded twice or thrice. And my normal routine is as I walk out of my gate, I fold it, stick it into the pocket of my running bottoms so that my hands are free to then attach my phone and the armband as I start running. This day, for some reason, rather than folding it, I just tucked one corner in. And as I was doing it, the thought occurred to me, what if this face towel falls off? And I thought, no, it's secure. And I started off. Shortly after the 1 kilometer mark, I start sweating a bit. And I thought, oh, I need to wipe my face. I reach for my face towel and it's not there. So, me of before, I would have just continued because I had set out my route and I wasn't going to change it. But I actually did an about turn and I retraced my steps back to my starting point. Sadly enough, I didn't find the face towel. I was hoping that because it's reddish, our superstitious Lagosians would see it and think, oh no, it's dangerous and not take it. But alas, somebody had obviously picked it up. But what really excited me was the fact that I was able to change my route. So by the time I got to my starting point, I recalibrated. I figured out what I could do to ensure that I got my 8.1, and I eventually did it. So it was after that it occurred to me that really the week before, when I had the issues with the gym where I was, and I had to go out and run without a route, that I did well and I actually enjoyed it. So I think that's growth on my part. Flexibility, like one of my daughters would say, flexibility. And the second thing that occurred to me this past week was the weather was really good. Hamatan kind of had started to come in. So that Friday morning in particular, the weather was nice and cool, and it made the run so much easier. It brought to mind the concept of an enabling environment. Now, just the day before, I had shared a song I discovered, a lady playing on a cello, a song that her father had written. And thereafter, I saw a video of her playing her recording for the first time from her phone to her dad as a surprise to him because he was the original writer of the song. And she's not a young girl, but she sat on his lap and he was listening to it, and you could see the love between them. Then I went back to the original video I saw where it was the whole family, father, mother, two adult daughters, and a grandchild singing the song, just the chorus. And what occurred to me is these ladies grew up in an environment where their father loved them. So it was beyond preaching and training and teaching and all the things that men think they should do, and they should do. But it looked to me like they had grown up in an environment that made it easy for the word to germinate in their heart and to bear fruit. I saw the connection between the mother and the father, and the daughter and the father, and I thought this man had created a loving environment that it's easy to see why his daughters would love the Lord because he's the example of God that they've grown up with, and he's obviously shown them love as they grew up. It took my mind to where Jesus talked about the different types of soil, which in his explanation, he was actually talking about the different types of hearts that determined how the seed of the word did. And so there is something as a good environment and a bad environment for us to get the best out of even the word of God, you know. So Hamatan created an enabling environment for my run, and an environment of love in a home creates a great environment for the seed of the word. These were my thoughts on week 3 of my marathon training.